Gore's a little bit different. Part of it is the fact that Gore comes out of a background where they used to have Yahoo Gore. I don't know if you guys remember that. They used to call them this kind. I called them the blue screens, where regular DOS computers didn't have 3D graphics before we all came to Second Life. Essentially, they were called whiteboards, something like that. But anyway, they were role play boards, and you had to type every damn thing out. I mean, just in minutest details, because that's all you had. You know, if you're going through a door, you had to type going through door. What kind of door? Big, tall door. You know, bins down. And the rules changed when we went to Second Life, though in Gore it really didn't. It's still following a lot of the rules on Gore that came from the old days, going back over 20 years, especially since the original people who started this junk and Gore, many of them are still around. And it's called, anyway, let's get through this. Roleplay basics. Check out the sim rules before you start the roleplay. Gore has over 90 cities. It used to be a lot more, double that. But the point is, I've got most of the laws stored, and there's some vast differences. So just because you've been to one Gore city, you can't you can't just count on knowing the rules. It could be an administrator, it could be a new bar. If it's a new bar, he may have set some rules that aren't in there. So you've got to do that. If you're learning, you can wear an observer tag and set it to OCC out of character. Do not join any ongoing role play as an observer. Learn, especially if you're brand new to Gore. Just sit back and learn. If you got the OCC tags, you're cool. Do not discuss OCC topics in chat. Don't discuss the Yankees baseball game sitting in an R, for instance. That's an IMs. When you're in group chat, you're going to basically follow the role play. Do not do not noise gesture. Farting may be funny on the dance floor. It's not in Gore. In dancers, unless appropriate to the scene, that is, slave dance or something like that. Respect each other's role play limits and be realistic with your own. This is Gore. Limits like you can't collar me are unrealistic. And Gore, if you're a woman with no collar, you're going to get collared. On the other hand, there are role play limits. So check the thing. If they're a slave, they're not supposed to have them. But the point is, check the limits, see if they're in there. Whatever character is IC meaning in character, you must be expected as a person OCC. You must be respected as a person in OCC. For example, if you're a slave in character, you cannot be treated as a slave out of character. Okay, you go to IMs, they're no longer a slave, flat out. In fact, I've had slaves tell me, go fuck yourself. And they're not supposed to do that. And they'll say, well, I'm OCC. Uh, so, yeah, that's a big deal. It's unfortunate. I look for girls. If you're going to play a slave, I want a slave in real life that just has a slave's heart because those IMs can be vicious. And you're going, but you're a slave. Not when I'm in I. Anyway, do not walk up to a group of active role players and just join in. Be polite. Find out what they're discussing. This is omitting a key part of role play. The para role players, the ones that are used to the old days or just adopted the rules, they take turns. So what you're actually doing is going up and listening to find out who spoke last and then jump in when they're done with the cycle. That sucks. So my rule of thumb is if you don't like pair role playing, don't get around a group more than 3 people. Because if it gets 5 or more, you can go 30 minutes trying to go around the room. And I unfortunately got caught in a couple of those, especially in my character, and got stuck a couple of hours in very little conversation on my part. So what happens is you walk up, you listen, find out what's being said, who's the last person, then you come in. Although usually I say Tao anyway and then move on. Give people time to respond to your moat. Oh, this can be murderous. But let's be honest. Some people, you got to ask the question why people are in Second Life. Some are ambulatory. I mean, they're lying in a bed with a freaking laptop and finding it harder than hell to type. Some have arthritis in their older ages. There are any number of reasons why people take forever to reply. Some just can't think. Hate to say that. And you may find yourself waiting 3 minutes for a reply. Do not keep trying short one-liner bursts. Let them reply to you. That is, and this is a role play, BDSM or otherwise, you make a comment, you wait for the reply, then you make the next comment. Then they go back and forth, back and forth. Don't machine gun them. Some people are paragraph role players and need time to type. This could be as much as 5 to 10 minutes. Bring a book to read in between comments. Watch a little TV. Play some music in the background. Some of these people really suck. Is that a part of real life? No, not really. And like I said, it's a holdover from back before we had 3D. Yeah, bullshit like bird flies over the sky and tweets. I look up. Oh, look, it's a bird. I watch him gently land on the grass, pecks on the grass. Then I look up and see three people approaching. Hi, gentlemen. How may I help you? Meanwhile, you've got 5 minutes between that way. She types out about what color the bird is, what it eats. So some of this really sucks. And like I said, it's unnecessary, but some people play that way. Role player Bill of Rights. You're a role player. You have the following rights. I have a chance to choose who I role play with. Kind of. Um, some people take this to an extreme. If you walk up to a slave, she's supposed to at least greet you. Now, she's OCC. She shouldn't be in the streets to start with, being honest. There should not have people hanging around the streets that are OCC. The rules normally are they should go into another room, a building, something, but don't stand around the seats with a big OCC tag on you and then somebody walks up and you walk away. That's bullshit has happened to me. Um, what should happen is, at least with slaves, they should, if they're trained properly, go to Nadu and wait and then say Tao Master or something. Um, to just walk away without greeting is unacceptable and is rude. So yes, you don't have to do long-winded role plays, but at the very least, you need to go hide, avoid the person, go into a building, but don't have this guy approach you or a woman approach you, and you sit there and blow them off and walk away. Because in Gore, you can get hurt, basically killed off, or any other things for being rude. If you're a slave, I have the right to control my own character's actions. That is true. 3, you have the right control over my character's development in nature. No one may alter my player's biography without permission. That is true, but use some wisdom in that. There's a woman that came to our city that was a slave for a number of years, flipped her character, same name, same person. Suddenly she was a free person. Half the city tried basically to have sex with her. Why? They knew her as a slave. Now, they can't alter your role play basically. But on the other hand, if you're sitting there changing your character and have the same body and the same name, and then claim, "Hey, no, no, I was a free woman. I was never a slave," and they knew you last week as a slave, you got a problem. You can type anything you want in that biography, but this woman went through 2 weeks of men trying to strip her. That's just the way it was. 4, if a character dies permanently, I have the right to create another character. That almost never happens, but sometimes there are situations where you die and that they say you died, and that in which case you need to come in under another name. Some cities have a 7-day deal and then you're resurrected. I have no clue how that shit works, but some cities have it. 5, you have the right to refuse any role play that makes you uncomfortable, especially sexually or strongly violent role play without negative consequences on my character or myself. Then get the hell out of that city. Seriously. If you're in a violent northern city, you shouldn't be there. Don't walk in and try and change their role play because you don't like that kind of role play. Well, I'm just going to go in and say, you can't do that with me. Bullshit. Go to another city. That's their city. They set the rules. They're saying that it's a violent role play situation, and you need to get the hell out of there. 6, I have a right to my own opinion, a right to voice it in a reasonable, non-offensive manner that would not be the subject of blaming or bullying. Yeah, that's another issue. As a slave, not really. So again, know what the hell your character is. If you're a free one, go for it. But if you're a slave, not so much. I have the right to Be excused from role play for real life up. Yeah, that you do. Real life always comes first. 8. My character may serve a leader in character, but out of character, I'm a player and I have the right to be autonomous and treated with respect. Yeah, that's true. Um, I have a right not to participate in metagaming, god moding, or other negative roleplay habits or disruptive. Now, a lot of cities have mods. What I mean is there's moderators, and there's usually more than one. So if the role play gets out of character and they're abusive, a moderate you can call for a mod, they'll step in and it'll be taken care of. Is how that's dealt with. Um, and by the way, the metagaming and god moding, that's pretty much a standard. I have a right to own my custom creations and ideas. Yes, Second Life will back you on that. I have the right to ask for a retcom of common role play. If I make a mistake or error to do, make a mistake or error due to an out of character or real life influence. Yeah, just tell them what happened. I have a right to socialize and do if I please in out of character setting, even if I socialize or competing an enemy and in character group. Yeah, you can meet them off. You can actually go ahead and have somebody hate to death and role play, and then role play, and then turn around and go out dancing with them OCC. So yeah, you've got that. Now, online-isms. Those are always fun. There's a lot of them. Online-isms are customs, laws, other behaviors are acceptable in role play as Goreans, but not are found in the book. Some people will tell you that if you do not follow these so-called laws, you're not role-playing correctly. However, they are not supported by book quotes, and mostly came about from the days of Yahoo or AOL chat room roleplay. Like I said, a lot of these people, when they came into Gore, came out of Yahoo and AOL chat rooms. Gore was big back then. And some of the stuff they do today still came from there, and it just won't go away. It's like Halloween. Nobody has a clue why in the hell they keep buying candy every year for your kids. All right. Number one, onlineism. Slavery is not used in the books. It's fiction. Well, that's bullshit. Servery. Sorry. Yeah, servery is not used in the books. It's kitchen. There is no such thing as servery, chillery, cookery, chilla. There is no mention of any of these in the book. It's referred to as a kitchen. There is no refrigerators in Gore. Ice is a luxury. If you live up north, that's not a problem. If you live in the south, yeah, it's imported. I knew a guy that was in the Tahari and played a sultan and had big blocks of ice for air conditioner. Next, slaves are required to kiss the side of a drinking vessel, but were forbidden to kiss the rim. Sorry, no. Or some idiot thing. In fact, I discussed that recently with a slave. Sweetening drinks. Occasionally, a slave is asked to sweeten a drink during an online serve, which means the slave has to add their sexual juices to the rim or into the beverage. That was never mentioned in a book. Somebody just got kink. There is no 7 steps were observed in the books. There is no 7 steps serve observed in the book. Sorry. Serves varied according to the situation and the place. Now, your slave house may have a 7 step serve. Follow it. Okay. Your master may have it. Follow it. But in terms of gore, nah, it's an extra. Um, Inspecting or cleaning a vessel and counting heartbeats were never mentioned in the books. The Bazi tea ceremony has no basis at all in the book. It's a long, drawn-out text-based role play based on Japanese tea ceremonies. Slave silk colors. Slaves are any colored silks at the will of their master. Slave silks are not in any way connected with the phrase of training. Again, though, if your city does it, do it. Slave training levels. There was no training levels of any kind recognized in the book. A girl had either been taught to do something or she hadn't. The colors of her clothing she was permitted to wear had nothing to do with it. Red silk was a rather crude term for a girl who was no longer a virgin, and white was a virgin. That's it. However, some of your cities have training levels. In fact, quite a few. If they do, they do. You follow the slaver. Free woman hair. You'll hear the free woman must have her hair up as an updo. It's not supported by the books. Slaves are not usually allowed updos, braids, or ponytails, but free women also do have their hair up, but it's not required. I'm in a city that requires hair to be up if you're free. That's an online-ism. There isn't shit in the books about that, and there's no Gor law for that. But a lot of cities say free women's hair must be up. I think it's to distinguish, but the Ubar can set that rule, and if he does, that's the rules. And you can argue your ass off. Slaves can carry money. They can't own it. I can give my slave money and they can carry it. But if I ask them for it, they're going to give it to me. Earth was not used in the books. It is earth. And Tau is used by both free and slaves. Now, there's a trick to that too. Um, Usually you'll say something like, and serve with fire. That's also an online-ism. Um, be well is a command given to slaves. You don't say that to the free. You may say, may you be well, but you never command the free. And that is a truth that's in Gor. But this other stuff about, no, not so true. Okay, that's it on roleplay and Gor. And you have a great night.
That's all, folks.